Hello and welcome to Live with the Paper Pixie. I'm Julie DiMatteo, the Paper Pixie, coming to you live from Alpharetta, Georgia. Tonight is Wednesday, March 1st, 2023. If you're watching live, say hello and where you're watching from. And if you're watching on the replay, thanks for joining us. We are going to be sharing projects from the Irresistible Blooms bundle. And I've got sort of it's a fun fold, but it's just a matter of cutting off a little strip to give a little bit of interest and then add your sentiment here on the bottom. I love this layout. Then I've got a cute little, it's like a mini treat bag, mini gift bag. I've got a Ferrero Rocher in here, but you could throw some Hershey's Nuggets and other things. And then I couldn't stop making this project. This is a sort of an adaptation of the diaper fold that we know and love. I want to give a shout out, I think, to Glenda Calkins. I saw this on Pinterest. I'm not sure that it's still on her blog, but it's a square diaper fold pouch. In this one, I've got a tea bag, but I'm going to show you a whole bunch of other treats that you can fit in there. Super quick and easy tonight. So this is how we do it on Live with the Paper Pixie. If you've got questions, put a Q colon in front of that question. That will help us queue your questions for the end of the live stream. That way I can focus on tonight's projects from start to finish. Then I'll stick on with you till I answer all of your questions, and your questions are amazing and so helpful to the community. If you're new here, let us know in the chat. Our amazing community will welcome you. When you shop with me, you earn Pixie Perks on orders of $25 or more. The easiest way to do that, to add my current host code, is to use my magic link, thepaperpixie.com/shop. That will take you to the Stampin' Up! Online store with my current host code attached. I track all those Pixie Perks for you. When you earn 10 Pixie Perks stars, you get to choose a free stamp set. You can save your Pixie Perks rewards to redeem for a free stamp and die bundle. So I love doing Pixie Perks. We have got a brand new online only option here. I'm going to quick flip so I can show you on the online store only. So these products will not be in any current catalog. But there's some really cool products that are available as of today. These are online only. So if you go to thepaperpixie.com/online only, that will take you to this section on the online store. But I'm just going to scroll really quickly. There is a combination of brand new products you'll see identified by the word new in the upper left corner of each product. There's also a brand new kit that dropped today. And then, excuse me, if I go all the way down to the bottom, do you guys see that we've got two circle punches that have made their way back to us? The 2-inch circle punch and the 1 3/4 inch circle punch. I don't know why they're not marked as new, probably because we've had them before, but that put them down to the bottom of the list. I wanted to make sure that you saw those. So, yay for online only products. All right, Lily is selling Girl Scout cookies for about 1 week only. They have direct ship cookies available, so if you're interested in supporting Lily and her Girl Scout troop, thepaperpixie.com/cookies. And I believe our troop is leaving direct ship sales open through next Friday, March 10th. So you've got a little over a week to take advantage of that. I'm sort of surrounded by cookies of the cookies that we're delivering in person. A couple of cookies are sold out, in case you're wondering. The brand new Raspberry Rally are sold out. I think Samoas are sold out. But some of my favorites are still there, like the Tagalongs, the Trefoils, Thin Mints, you name it. So anyways, if you're interested in that, that's the link, thepaperpixie.com/cookies. Now, show and tell this week, it's actually a show and tell from me because I spent, 2 to 3 hours on Saturday and I built this for Nolan. This is one of the Lego Technic. I think it's called Technic, or is it called Technique? Anyways, it's spelled like TECHNIC, and he wanted to make sure that it was put together correctly. So I'm not sure that it's exactly correct because it doesn't actually drive like it's supposed to, but I had fun putting that together. It's a GT500. Anyways, so I get to take credit for that one. But then Nolan and Cindy Schmidt, if you are watching, Nolan got these from you in the mail and he could not wait to make them. I think he actually added some accessories here, but super fun. We've got Buzz Lightyear and Woody. I don't think we have anything from Lily this week. She didn't bring me anything. So that's our kiddo show and tell spotlight each week. We're gonna go ahead and jump into tonight's projects. I'm gonna start with the card tonight. This is so easy to make, and using the Irresistible Blooms dies, I just wanted to showcase this one die that is basically a peek-through window. This is a great way to showcase our designer series papers. No matter the paper, I happened to pick a paper from the Irresistible Blooms collection of products that really looks like, I mean, it just is beautiful for a frame. So we're gonna start with a base of Flirty Flamingo. And I'm going to show you how to cut this from a full sheet of 8.5 by 11, because I always recommend that when you sit down to create, always make at least 2 cards, because a full sheet of 8.5 by 11, at least here in the US, will create 2 full cards for you. And while you have all your supplies out, you might as well make 2. So starting with this on the long side, so on the 11-inch side, we're going to score this at 5.5. Make sure that you are using your scoring blade. That's the lighter gray and not your cutting blade. I make that mistake a lot. And then I'm just going to cut off 1.25 inches. So I actually, when it's up to 1.5 inches, I like to use the right side of the paper trimmer here, and I'm just going to cut off a 1.25 inch strip. And you can save that in your stash. I'm going to turn it to the short side now, and I'm going to cut it at 4.25. So then what we've got are 2 card bases ready to go. I'm going to hang on to one of those. So you've got, you can tell, sort of a normal 5.5 by 4.25 section, and then there's our score line. This is going to be our front. I'm going to turn that valley score line into a mountain fold and burnish. I do like to burnish from the back side of the card, because you do get a little bit of shininess along that fold where you burnish. But so we've got that short flap there on the front, okay? Now, for the inside piece, I've got a piece of basic white, and this measures 4 inches by 5.25 inches. That's my standard size for the inside. But we're gonna go ahead and stamp this with our sentiment. You'll wanna pick a sentiment that fits well in the 1.25 inch. Now you can obviously trim this more if you like. What's nice about this panel here is it's actually 4.25 inches square. So the layers we're gonna start with are 4 by 4. That leaves us, again, 1.25 inches here for a sentiment. Let me pull in. This is the Irresistible Blooms bundle. Again, only available in the online exclusive. So the paperpixie.com/online only will take you there. We're going to use the sentiment. We used this last week as well. I couldn't be happier to have you as my friend. And we're going to use this big die as well. So let's stamp the inside first. And ahead of time, I've actually set that up on my Stamparatus. The thank you will fit here as well. It's a little bit of a tight fit with that 1.25 inches. All right, so I have this laid out on my Stamparatus. I set up the sentiment ahead of time, but I did it so that the basic white, I'm putting it in landscape, but it is gonna stamp in the right position. So I'm probably, because I want to get a really crisp stamped image, one of the reasons why I love using the Stamparatus is I can stamp it twice. So we'll do once, and then twice. I do need to re-ink. I feel like I always say that every week. And one more. I'm too lazy to use my magnets most times. So there we go. We've got our sentiment here. Now while I have this out, I'm actually going to stamp it again because we're going to use it for another project. And I just want to make sure that this stamps somewhere. It doesn't really matter where we put our paper. I'm actually going to use a magnet this time because I think I'm going to stamp this twice. We're just going to fussy cut the word friend, or it's not really fussy cutting, but we're going to use that for the pouch, the diaper fold pouch. So stamp once and stamp twice. There we go. All right. probably pay attention to where I put my stuff. All right, we're gonna grab liquid glue here and adhere the inside layer. So many possibilities with this card layout. So I hope you'll add it to your repertoire. Like so. So then you'll see that that sentiment's really cute peeking out there from the bottom. All right. I know I put that paper somewhere. Here it is. I wanted to do a quick flip through to show you how beautiful this paper is. You get 4 pieces of 12 double-sided designs. I had to go back to my brain to figure out what that was. So you get lots of options. I'm going to do just a quick flip through. So you can have a lot of fun with that circle die cut and having some of these beautiful patterns peek through it. So again, 4 of each. This would be beautiful peeking through it as well. Whenever we can get our hands on some pretty peacock cardstock, that would be awesome. So there we go, beautiful paper. This is Hello Irresistible. It is designed to look like the Emboss Resist, which I love. Okay. So I decided for these 2 projects, well, I'm gonna put one of these aside. We're gonna use this for the little gift bag. But then I cut a piece. I wanted to make sure I had a little bit of sort of an image there or a landscape. And this piece I cut to just under 4 inches by 4 inches. And that's just so that it'll lay underneath the white piece without having any edges peeking through in case I cut one just a little bit off. So technically that's what, 3 15/16. I just move it to 4 inches and then cut it just a little bit smaller. And then my basic white piece, this is a full 4 inches by 4 inches. And let me just show you, it's just a hair smaller. So that way, when we layer the white over the top after we've die cut it, you won't have any of those edges of the designer series paper in your way, okay? So I'm gonna bring in the die. And we're gonna center this on our 4 by 4 inch panel. I'm just gonna grab some Post-it tape here. Just centering top to bottom, left to right. Hold that die in place. And we'll run that through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Which I always seem to forget to check this for extra Post-it tape. This is quite an intricate die, so I'm going to run it back and forth just a couple times. Noisy today. All right. Those pieces and parts out of here. And then what we're left with is this beautiful frame. Save those pieces and pop these guys out. You do want to be a little bit gentle because this is a quite delicate die cut, but that's what that frame looks like. How cool is that? You could probably do something cool with the negative here. This would actually be kind of a fun sentiment piece. All right, so then we are gonna go ahead and layer these. Now, I'm gonna go ahead on this one and do just a bead of basic white. I see there's one little piece that needs to pop out here. There we go. I don't wanna go all the way to the edge. I'm about, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch from the edge. And that's all you really need around the outside. Then I'm just going to go ahead and layer that over our beautiful designer series paper piece. If you think you're going to be a little messy here, feel free to bring in your silicone craft mat. And I can also flip it over and make sure that that's not peeking out anywhere, okay? Like so. But look how pretty that is. I love that little image in there with the designer series paper. So we're gonna go ahead and glue that down. And just center that here in this 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 section. Like that. Cute, right? All right, so one more thing we're gonna add to this. In the Irresistible Blooms Sweet Collection, there's also these loose frosted dots. And I just wanted to point out these are loose. So they do not come with adhesive on the back, even though in the picture on the online store, it looks like they might be adhesive backed, but you get a lot more that way. And if you, excuse me, if you got the patience and a couple of tools, I recommend you grab your take your pick tool and maybe a pair of tweezers or 2 take your pick tools. You're gonna want something to pick up the gem with and also something to kind of take your pick tool off. That's so funny. Take your pick tool. I'll show you what I mean. So I recommend doing the dot of glue where you want your, what are these called? Frosted dot to go. And I'm just gonna put one over here to the left of the sentiment. I'm just doing a tiny little dot there. And let's go ahead and do pink. There's a couple of different sizes here, but I'll do the pink one. I'm gonna pick it up with the putty end of my take your pick tool. There's probably a more fun way or more scientific way to do this, but I found that the putty is pretty sticky. So I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, but I'm with my left hand holding that gem with my reverse tweezers just so I could release the putty from it, but it just adds a little bit of bling. Now you could do a rhinestone or a pearl or something like that, or none at all. But this is just a quick and easy card, plenty of room to write a sentiment. But I absolutely love this steals the show here. The paired with the designer series paper and this circle die cut. So again, that's Irresistible Blooms, available in the online exclusives section of the online store. Trying something new here. So quick and easy. I hope you'll try cards with this, just removing that 1 1/4 to create that layout of a card, okay? Let's go ahead and jump into the little treat bag. For this one, we're gonna start with a 6x6 piece of designer series paper. You know me, I love coming up with 6x6 projects. And this one is just super cute. We're gonna do a different pattern here. And let me grab my Simply Scored. With a directional pattern like this, you want to start with where your paper, the pattern is going top to bottom. So technically portrait, even though this is a square paper, hopefully that makes sense. The pattern is in portrait. And we're going to go ahead and score at 1 3/8, 2 3/4, 4 1/8, and 5 1/2. Okay. Then I'm going to turn it clockwise. And we're going to score at 1 3/8. And then I'm actually going to flip the paper, keeping it in the same orientation, and score at 5. That's because we're going to fold this top part backwards. Okay, so let me repeat those measurements. With the pattern in portrait, 1 3/8, 2 3/4, 4 1/8, 5 1/2. Turn it clockwise, score at 1 3/8, flip, and 5. Okay. Now the first thing I want you to do is with the pattern in a portrait, fold backwards on that top score line. That was the one that we scored on the opposite side of the paper. And I'm going to come in and burnish. It's important to do that first so that your next folds are working with this already folded backwards. But I love the contrast of that front pattern and the back pattern. This is a great project for showcasing both sides. Then I'm going to flip it over and fold along all the score lines, again with this top part folded back. It's going to fight you a little bit because it's paper and we're asking it to do something we don't want it to do, right? Just take your time. So I did all of those sort of vertical folding and burnishing with that folded back, and then we've got the bottom one to burnish here. Okay, like so. I'm gonna grab my paper snips here. Let me bring in a template. Use that for reference here. So I've got my top. Now this is gonna look a little bit different because we folded that top inch back, so it's a little shorter than the template. And I'm gonna flip this over because it's easier for me to see the score lines on the back, but we're gonna cut up each of the vertical score lines. And then I'm gonna remove this lower rectangle while also coming in and miter cutting on that side tab. So we just did this guy here, okay? Just a little bit of a miter cut there. And then I'm also gonna miter cut on this edge, like so, and then just a little miter cut on this little piece here, just because that's gonna tuck underneath our little gift bag or treat bag here. Okay, so if I open this, you'll see now that those sections have separated and we've got it miter cut, just like on the template here, okay? All right. Oh, one more thing I forgot to do. We're gonna miter cut on the second and fourth tabs if you're coming from the left. So go ahead and fold back the first and the third. And we'll come in and just angle cut. You could remove bulk here if you wanted to, but it's designer series paper, so it won't get in our way too much. There we go. All right, like that. Now, what we're gonna do before I put the liquid glue, I'm gonna fold this on the second score line from the left, and I wanna show you we've got this tab here, and then we've got a short tab and a long tab. What's gonna happen here is I'm gonna put glue on the long tab and also the short tab, but without kind of touching those together. And we're gonna kind of like shuffling a deck of cards. We're gonna put the left long tab down first, then the right side, and then we're gonna tuck this tab up and underneath that flap. So basically we're trying to connect this whole top section together so it holds itself together. I do like to kind of dry fit it first, just to make sure that the paper is going in the right spot, and it's not gonna line up exactly because again, we've folded the paper over onto itself, so it's not gonna be perfect, but it's gonna be close enough, okay? So here we go. I'm gonna fold this smaller tab over just to kind of get it out of the way. And I'm gonna do liquid glue along this long tab here. And then just a little bit on the short tab, like that, okay? So on the short tab and also the long tab, and again, put the left long tab down, moving that short tab out of the way, then the right side, and then tuck this little tab. It's okay if you get glue on your hands, it's probably gonna happen, but so hopefully you can see how that is kind of zigzagged, like we're shuffling cards there, okay? I'm gonna push everything down. Now the liquid glue is gonna let us kind of put things into place here. You can kind of have it go both ways if you want to. Sometimes that helps to get it lined up better. Like so, okay? So we've got that really cool folded back top. It's kind of magic, isn't it? So you'll see our tab here along the back. This is our seam, which means this is our back panel. So I want to remember that. Again, back panel here, we've got our seam. I'm going to go ahead and fold in the long tabs. You can do liquid glue here just to kind of keep everything in place. So do a little bit of glue on that tab, fold it down, and a little bit on that tab, and then the front flap here. Then we're just going to go ahead and fold the back, then the front. And I like to just square up the bottom. And the glue bottle's perfect for this to kind of, I put the lid on so the glue doesn't squeeze out, but then I'll just push those tabs down from the inside, like so. Now this is cute just as it is, but let's go ahead and grab, do I have an extra one? Yes, I'm gonna grab a Ferrero Rocher. Okay, put some nuggets in here. Lindor truffles would work too. So I've just got one Lindor truffle in there. And then I'm going to pinch. Again, pay attention to where your seam is. So this is our back. I'm going to put my index fingers right there in the center, and I'm just going to pinch like so. And it's going to kind of do what it needs to do there on the sides. But how cute is that? I love it. This is reminiscent of some Poodle's projects, which I love her stuff. Okay, so to hold that together, you could have a clip, ribbon. We're going to actually use the linen thread here. I've got a spool of that. Let me get my reverse tweezers handy. I'm going to start by kind of having a long enough tail here on the left side. And then I'm going to take the spool end and I'm actually going to wrap that around. Let's just do twice. Now I want to make sure I kind of pull that tight so that that pulls that section together. And then I'm going to get ready to do a bow here. But I want those reverse tweezers nearby. You're doing a lot of work over there, aren't you? To hold that little knot in place. Okay, like so. So I'm going to go ahead and tie a bow. Thank you for doing that. Pull my reverse tweezers out of the way, and then we can zhuzh our bow here. I do like to make sure that that knot is tight, and then zhuzh. And usually what happens is your loops and tails will cooperate with you when you start to pull it out, so they're not all twisty and cattywampus. And then I'm going to pull the tails down and trim them at the same time, so then they're both the same length. But isn't that cute? I love that neutral linen thread with this beautiful paper pack. Now, let me show you a fun trick with the postage label punch. Is that what it's called? Rectangular postage stamp. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and punch that out of basic white. I'm going to show you a little trick. You can make this any size you want. I'm going to punch 2 just in case I mess up. And then all you need to do is to just feed this punch right back into itself, like so. Now, a couple things you can use. You can use the take your pick tool. I actually like, in this case, to use my reverse tweezers. So I'm going to kind of just grab that end there, and that's going to give me a chance to kind of navigate this punch, or this punch out, into place. Now, of course, I did it with my left hand last time, so maybe that's my problem. But you just want to line up those ends in the punch. And let's do it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maybe that's one too many. I'm going to move up one more notch. And what I'm doing, I'm going to show you before I punch, I am lining up those notches again into the punch. So it doesn't look like I've fed this back into the punch and then punch. Hold on 1 minute. I went right into the floor. All right, so there we have kind of a little mini rectangular postage punch with dog hair too, because it fell on the floor. And then you've got this piece left over. But imagine you could turn this into a square postage stamp, rectangular, you could turn it portrait or landscape. So it gives you a lot more versatility with the rectangular postage stamp punch. Love that. So I did kind of a smaller one. We're going to punch or stamp the word hello. I think I made this one a little bit smaller than the sample. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. Oh no, exactly the same. All right, so we got the word hello from Irresistible Blooms. Make sure I get that good and inked up because I am going to stamp this just once. Hold it there for a couple of seconds. And there we go, we've got hello. I'm going to grab a pair of dimensionals. And pop this up on the front here. Like so. Perfect width for the front of that. And then I'm going to grab, where did I put my little frosted dots? Oh, they're right here. Oh, goodness. All right, we'll do a yellow one here. Oh, is that the color I want to do? Now we'll do a pretty peacock here. All right, so again, a tiny little glue dot where you want to put your gem or frosted dots. Probably can't even see that, it's so tiny. Gonna pop that up. Got my other tool in my hand. There we go. Move that around just a little bit. And there we have our 6x6 treat bag. Isn't that cute? I love the contrast. So here's the one with the other paper. Totally different look, but super cute. Okay, and you can pop these out more if you want to, kind of separating those pieces to give it a little bit more dimension. Really, really fun and cute and easy. Okay, so that's that one. Let's go ahead and jump into this really easy square diaper fold pouch. Again, another 6x6 project. So we're going to start by just doing a slight origami fold. We're just going to fold this diagonally from corner to corner. And I got another tip for you here if you want some help with that. This was a great tip from an audience member as well. You could do this on the Simply Scored or here on your paper trimmer. I'm just using that corner here with the flat edge here along the left and the flat edge along the top to get that lined up before I fold. That'll give you a really sharp line up there on the edge, okay? Going to burnish. And then we are going to do a little bit of scientific math here. Not really, but I'm going to bring this back. You can eyeball this as well, but I love to be a little bit more exact. So I've got this, the folded edge is here along the top of the Simply Scored. I've got this point here along the left, pushed all the way to the side. And I'm just going to go ahead and score at 2 3/4. I'm going to kind of do it twice because we're going through 2 pieces of paper. Then I'm just going to flip and do the same thing. So you only have to remember one measurement, 2 3/4, like so. Then the next thing we're going to do is fold on those score lines and burnish. And you'll notice that they don't exactly meet up, and that's so that we don't have any paper in our way, okay? I'm just gonna go ahead and tuck, so you see we've got a little bit of a pocket here. I'm gonna tuck one into the other, like so, okay? So that's already holding itself together. Again, you can come in and kind of burnish your edges again after you've done that. And then all I'm gonna do is to take one of these pieces and just fold it down flat. Nothing scientific here. Like so, and burnish. So you kind of get the double-sided there as well. Now this happens to be the same color on both the front and the back, but then you've got this cute little pouch with no adhesive. So let me show you a couple things that will fit in this before we finish decorating. So I showed you before that a tea bag fits. Now this is one of the Bigelow. Now I know there's all different sizes of tea bags. The measurements of this pocket are 3 inches wide. I'm doing the square part here by 2 3/4. So it's a little bit rectangular, but a tea bag will fit in there. I pulled out all kinds of candy for you. These Snickers almond, or these Snickers brownie bars, I don't think they're all almond. That's a fun treat that will fit in here. I'm gonna kind of leave these out so you can see them. A Ghirardelli square fits perfect, whether it's filled or not. You even have a little bit more space. You could slip a little note in there. A pair of Hershey's Minis will fit. This is such a versatile pocket. I love it. Put a pair of those. I think I only have 2 more for you. I'm sure you guys will think of other things as well. Those Godiva signature bars and Mercies, both of those would fit as well. A little bit of a tight fit as far as on the bottom. You'll see it's kind of puckering a little bit, but it's still not pulling apart, and I've got 3 of those in there. And then last, I've shared this treat before, but a Loker Mini, which I found on Amazon, that will fit as well. Okay, this would be a really cute project for giving a cash tip to a waitress, a waiter, or your nail technician or hairstylist, the valet guy, all kinds of, I say valet guy, the valet, all kinds of ideas for that. Again, super quick and easy and a great way to use your designer series paper, especially 6x6, but we need to decorate it, don't we? Wanted to show you, so on this pattern, and there's a couple different colorways. Let's see. I'm just going to show 2 of the colorways. The dies actually work with these, so let me show you. Actually, I'll show you the ones we've already cut out, or the paper that I started with cutting out. So we've got these 2. And then there are multiple leaves. So you've got the triple leaves, which will work here, and the double leaves, which work here. And then you've got 2 flower sizes that will work. Like so. Okay, so we're going to do the smaller flower and the trio of leaves for this project. And I'm just going to get these lined up again using my Post-it tape. It's not my Post-it tape, using Post-it tape. I do like to kind of anchor it with 2 pieces. And just take your time getting it lined up. Doesn't need to be perfect. And then we'll run that through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I love when we can die cut our paper. And this gives a watercolor emboss resist without all the work, right? How cute is that? Love that. And the other one. Oh, the itty bitty leaf too. That's awesome. Thanks, Tammy. And another beautiful flower there. All right, I'm gonna grab that itty bitty leaf. So cute. Awesome. So yeah, this one cuts out as well. Thanks, Tammy. That's so cool. All right, love it. All right, so we're gonna kind of build our flower here. Love that with this pretty peacock background. And grab some liquid glue here. We're gonna do some liquid glue and some dimensionals. So liquid glue on the trio of leaves. Just kind of playing around with dimension here. Kind of put that here. Whoops. that. And then remember that additional stamped image? That's this guy. We're going to close cut to get the word friend out of that sentiment. So you're going to be really close to the top of the D so that you can cut so that you don't see the happier in the word friend. Got that cute friend sentiment there. And I'm going to kind of glue to the flower, but then use a dimensional behind the right side of that sentiment because we've kind of got two different layers of dimension here. So the flower's got dimensionals, the leaves are glued down. So I'm going to grab a mini dimensional or a trimmed down Stampin' Dimensional if you don't have minis. I'm going to put the mini behind the right side. Okay, so behind the END. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the opposite side. Then we'll layer that just like that. How cute. Love that little sentiment there. And then we're going to do one more of the frosted dots. So a little dot in the center of the flower. And we'll grab a large yellow. Could do pink as well. Let's do pink for this one. Because these are a little bit translucent, they'll pick up the color behind them and kind of change color, which I love. Pick that up with my Take Your Pick tool. And again, come in with some other tool to just kind of release that Take Your Pick tool from it. And let's put our little peppermint tea bag in there. And there we have our square diaper fold pouch. So cute. All right, let's recap tonight's projects. I'll show you all the different colorways here. Here's our little gift bag. And then our little fun fold here and our two square diaper fold projects. So there we go. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed these. Let's go ahead and jump into tonight's questions. Give me a moment to get those queued up here. Where's my mouse? There we are. We good?
Already answered the Andy stick.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. What is the difference between a regular embossing folder and a 3D embossing folder? So Becky, there's a couple of differences. There's a physical difference. One is thicker than the other. And then there's also a dimensional difference between the texture you're going to get from a regular embossing folder versus a 3D embossing folder. I just combined embossing folder to in folder. Let's see. I'm going to kind of show you the difference here. This is a, whoops. I should probably show you this. So here is a 3D and here is a regular one. So do you see the difference in thickness? That extra thickness is going to give you a lot more texture when you run that through the machine versus what you get with just our regular one. So that's the biggest difference. It's additional dimension is the difference. Great question. Let's see, back to this. Whoops. Here we go. All right. Is there a single pack of cardstock that you would recommend? Carolyn, I'm assuming you're asking about a pack of cardstock to recommend to go with the Irresistible Blooms collection of products. And if that's the case, let me share the colors with you that's in the paper. And then you can kind of decide which one to go with. But we've got Daffodil Delight, Flirty Flamingo, Lost Lagoon, Petal Pink, Pretty Peacock, and Soft Seafoam. Now, Lost Lagoon and Pretty Peacock, those are returning colors, but we can't purchase the cardstock yet. So I would actually recommend, if I had to pick a color, I would probably pick Flirty Flamingo to go with this collection of products because it's really going to look nice with all the different colors. And it'll be a nice richer color for card bases and things like that. So if I had to pick one color, I would say Flirty Flamingo. Okay. I recently received the Taco Fiesta stamp set and made some birthday cards. Does anyone know if they will be making a die set? Fussy cutting isn't as fun as one might think. Fussy cutting is one of those things, Michelle, you love it or you hate it. I'm on the very much dislike side. It's not relaxing for me. But I don't know if they're going to do a die set. If we've got demonstrators watching, that is definitely something I would recommend putting in the suggestion box, because it is an adorable stamp set. But yeah, I don't know that there's any plans for that. Now, if you have a scan and cut, you could potentially put that to work. But again, that's an investment. You may or may not have one of those, but that would be what I would recommend in lieu of dies. You heard they're doing a color refresh, Ramona. Yes, we did hear information today that there are going to be some new colors coming. I believe we didn't get any information today. I think we're going to get additional information on March 29th. March 29th is when the annual catalog will be available for demonstrators' eyes only. At which point I expect that we'll see not only Lost Lagoon and Pretty Peacock, but some additional colors. That's what we were told today. But we don't know what colors they are yet. We'll have to wait until March 29th. Again, that's for demonstrators. Now, if you want to get the inside scoop, I recommend that you join the demonstrator family, because you'll be able to hear that information first, again, on March 29th. They've told us it'll be announced, I think it's at 1 p.m., or at least the catalog will post at 1 p.m. Mountain Time on March 29th. So I don't have any other inside scoop to share with you, okay? Online only does not mean you can't order it from your demo. Kathy, great question. I wasn't sure if maybe it was just meant it won't be in a catalog, but maybe I could find the numbers online and still order through my demo. Exactly. So online exclusives just means that they won't be included in any printed catalogs, but absolutely you can grab product names, product numbers from the online store, and then let your demonstrator know to place an order for you. So we can, as demonstrators, place orders for you for the online exclusives. You just have to look at them in the online exclusives store. So the easiest way is to shop online. That's always my preference. But if you're used to ordering through your demonstrator, yes, they can place an order for you for the online exclusives. Do I have instructions to make a box that will hold about 10 to 12 cards? Bobby, it honestly depends. I've got a couple of card boxes, one for regular A2 cards and one for note cards. So the A2 cards are the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and the note cards are the 3 1/2 by 5. Both of those boxes, you could potentially fit 10 to 12 cards in them with not a whole lot of layers. I wouldn't recommend any embellishments for that. But they're fairly easy to adjust in size if you want to make them a little bit bigger. But other than that, I think I only have, I've got quite a few different like pouches and boxes for cards. Again, it all depends on the number of layers that you use. When previously released colors come back with the new catalog, such as Pretty Peacock, do I plan on offering something similar to your In Color Club for those colors? That is a great question, Jenna. I have not made up my mind about that, but it is something I'm considering, so stay tuned. You got Jill's? Was it Jill's question that asked about the Andy? Okay, awesome. You said it's a YouTube with the project sheets. It hasn't made it to my blog yet, but it will. Yeah, it's coming to the blog soon, but yeah, you can grab the project sheets in the video that Brian shared. Thank you.
Cindy helped us out.
Awesome, Cindy. Thank you. Why do you put the white layer under the DSP? So little of it seen. The white under the DSP. Which one did I do that on? Yeah, but I'm trying to think. Maybe you mean the other way. Ava, I don't know. Clarify that with me. I didn't put white under the DSP unless you're talking about this white. That's to make sure that you've got room to write a note to the recipient. But there's no white underneath this. The white is actually on top. Okay? No news other than we will get news on March 29th. That's what we were told as demonstrators today. I could see the treat bag turned into a bunny. Just leave the fold up and cut bunny ears. That would be really cute, Becky. Like the way you think. That's awesome. Ooh, M&M's fit in the diaper fold pouch. Great suggestion. Super cute. See, so many things. I don't have M&M's, so if I had them, I probably would have eaten them. That is a regular Ghirardelli, Yvette. So, yep, that's the regular size. Minis would fit too. You could probably put 2 minis in there, but the one I showed you is a regular. Oh, Linda. Let's see. I think it will fit. I think I saw a comment that somebody already tried it, but let me show ya. Yes, ma'am. A gift card and a treat would fit. So you could do like a gift card and a Ghirardelli square. That would be really cute. Cash would work too. Would the Reese's fit in the pouch? Do I have a Reese's? I think, you know, I feel like the Reese's peanut butter cups, the singles, get smaller and smaller. Does anybody else feel that way? I always feel like I think there's a couple different sizes. I definitely think the smaller of the Reese's, not the tiny ones, you know, that have the gold foil, but there's one, I don't know if that's the new size of the single Reese's peanut butter cups, but definitely, I think the ones that have the white kind of wax cardboard in it, that would probably be a bit of a struggle to fit in there. I think hopefully you understand what I mean. You know how some of the single Reese's peanut butter cups come with that little wax kind of folded paper thing to keep them from being smushed. I think the ones without those would fit. The dies are the Irresistible Blooms dies. No updates on the magnetic plate. I am not sure if they're able to resolve the quality issues or not. We haven't gotten updates in a really long time. They are included on the discontinued list. So I don't know. I'm not holding my breath, unfortunately. Obviously, they're not going to want to roll it out unless they are able to fix the quality issues with that. So I could just say stay tuned until we have a better answer. But right now, I don't have anything for you. Yes, Mary, the scoring on the diaper fold, so you're going to fold it in half, corner to corner, and then you're going to put that folded edge on either your Simply Scored or the paper trimmer, and you're going to score at the 2 3/4 inch mark, flip it, and 2 3/4 again. So just need to remember that 2 3/4 inch mark, okay? Oh, you wonder, but I know I miss the magnetic plate. Agreed. We all miss it. If you use an 8-inch square, would 2 of the Godiva chocolate squares fit? The Godiva squares, which ones are those? I don't know, Mulan. I don't think I have Godiva squares. But definitely give it a try. I bet you've got some paper you could practice on. I'm not sure. Yes, the die set in the paper is on the Stampin' Up site. Actually, Nancy, let me show you really quick. Let me flip to the online store here and share that screen really quickly. So Nancy, here we go. You're going to find that here on the online store, thepaperpixie.com/online only. That will take you to the online exclusives in the online store, and you'll be able to see everything that's available right now. Okay? I will consider it, Jenna. So far, I have not been inspired to make projects with it because I've seen so many incredible projects already with it, but I will consider it. No promises, though. It's not my style of stamp set, but I don't like to color, so that one really needs to be colored for sure. Where will we find the instructions for the box to hold the A2 cards, quantity 10 to 12? You got it? Okay. Thank you. Nope. I don't have any cash to send you, Michelle, but no, you're funny. Thank you. Oh, the thin Reese's would fit perfect. Yep. And do they have the individually wrapped Or it's a pair of the thin Oreos too. That might be a cute treat for in there. You guys have all the ideas. Look at that. All right, we have reached the end of the Q&A. Thank you guys for your questions. Always fantastic questions. If you enjoyed tonight's project or you got a tip or two, please be sure to like and subscribe. That helps us here on YouTube. We will be live next Wednesday for episode 275 at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I hope you have a wonderful and blessed week. Be sure to check out the online exclusives. And as always, reach out with any questions. Our support email address is support@thepaperpixie.com. And don't forget, all you need are stamps, ink, and a little paper pixie. Have a wonderful and blessed week, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Take care. Bye.